everybody. I want to do this live. It's actually for two friends of mine, Elliot McDavid and Marilyn Burns. And she's a lawyer. She got told off on one of my feeds, comments from a follower anyway. And they incorrectly asserted that Marilyn didn't know what she was talking about when it came to the civics of our country, constitutionalism, and especially federalism. All of our civics, which Canadians and First Peoples, I can say clearly, and I know Elliot McDavid saw this last night, so it's kind of funny. These two friends of mine, we both went through it. I went through it in a live Zoom last night with a lot of freedom fighters, and it was actually the First Peoples in the group that were interested in going National Socialist, which is a world phenomenon that plagues every single fed-up constitutional monarchy citizenry. That is world history. Can't be erased, can't be ignored. And do you know what all those constitutional monarchies with First Peoples of their own, badly abused, and subjects, not defined citizens, subjects, not defined citizens. Do you know what they all believed? That nationalism and a socialism are the way to go, the way out. And reality is that's not the way out. That's the abuse and institutional conditioning your monarchists have placed on you. They're known as the first class, the divinely elected and appointed, known as crown. Whether they're elected or appointment, they're your crown, your superiors, your first class actual citizens. They're not traditional subjects like the second and third class. Constitutional monarchies define themselves where you of the lower class, second and third class, serve the first class, not the other way around, like we, the people republics, or even civil law republics. And I'm going to tell you all something. In international law, in the international civics, by the allies of World War II, believe it or not, China, Russia, and USA at great lengths, and for USA the greatest expense, has tried to push international civics and these teachings worldwide. Russia's done a tremendous amount, even as the USSR. So is China in the last coming decades. They've been pushing it very hard worldwide and trying to get people on board, but nobody for as long and as much expense as, believe it or not, the United States of America. And they've seen the fool's folly, especially the USA and Russia, have repeatedly gone to war. Now they've fought each other over the narrative of which type of we the people republic we would see emerge in these former constitutional monarchies or despotic autocratic nations, absolute unitaries. They always fought over, will they be a communist or a we the people individual equality, two different versions of equality of the individual citizen. And they fought over it. But folks, for those who look to revolt in their constitutional monarchies, the absolute first choice is always National Socialist. This was Nazi Germany. This was Imperial Japan. This was France in a period. This was Spain in a period. This was Portugal, Denmark. We can go on and on. I could go through 100+ UN states in the world today who went through it. And even still, a lot of them fight over autocratic military regimes. Now, the allies of World War II, absent of UK, and in large silence from France. The rest of the three highlighted every time. Then you'll see France get on board and UK bludgeon, like they're bewildered or not on board completely. They're usually, when the world sees it for what it is, then UK gets on board, but they're the last. And oftentimes, if it's a UK asset from their past, they will actually use their tremendous veto to block any changes for these nations getting out of monarchialism or straying away from National Socialism. This is where you get into the socialist, fascist concepts, which Canada is. It is. Doesn't matter which political party they are. And then I see when I meet groups, First Peoples, Canadians, they right away blame a federal political party. Like right now, everybody, it's Trudeau's fault. He stamped on all our civil rights, our human rights, and all these things. But that's a lie. In Canada, we are a federalism. And in Canada, it is actually all your premiers who've lied to you, whichever political party they are. They have absolutely lied to all First Peoples and absolutely all Canadians on some major topics. The first being education, an absolute and 100% provincial power of every province and absolutely of every territory premier. That's through, yes, their crown, their territorial commissioners, and absolute lieutenant governor of the provinces. But it is that cabinet and its secret privy that's withheld this education absolutely from all Canadians and all First Peoples. Why do they do that? Because they don't want you to learn the power of a citizen that you could be. You could be through Section 58 of every single province and every territory, meaning teaching you how to become a citizen and not a subject or a slave to that crown. Yes, there's a division called federalism. Section 91, that's all federal government. Section 92 to literally 144 belongs to the provinces. Massive amount of people power, of citizen power that should and could be, but it isn't, because every elected premier and their political party, when they get into power, they have tremendous autocratic power and full authority over you, the subjects, and worse, you, the savages, through the Indian Act. Métis don't escape. They have taken absolutely the provincial premiers, territorial premiers in all of Canada's history. Through no education for any of you, they've taken away the First People's right to federalism. Federalism that is Canada. What is federalism? That is the powers of the federal government and the powers of the province. And unfortunately in Canada, all of your civil rights, most, if not 90% of your civics is found there. All of your absolute human rights enshrined in international law are found in the provincial powers. Never codified, locked away for only the elected premier and their appointed cabinet. And it's all secret from all Canadians and all First Peoples. Anyone blaming Trudeau for any civil rights violations, any human rights violations, any lack of civics, private property, education, health, and so very, very much more. But those are the huge, big ones. Can only look at their provincial governments alone. Your individual premiers hold all of it, absent of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister and the Privy Council of Ottawa, the Parliament, even the Federal Senate, even the Governor General of Canada can't usurp the Supreme or Superior Courts of the provinces and territories, which have to rule in that fashion if the premiers implement it. And they don't want to. They want you institutionalized, dumbed down like every other constitutional monarchy in the history of the world for more than 900 years. And again, I'm going to say it. 2 words. Iroquois Confederacy. The first peoples of North America and all of Siberia, the same peoples. That means absolutely the United States of America, absolutely Canada, and absolutely the Russian Federation. 3 countries. The first peoples of those territories, all of the Arctic, invented federalism. An idea that you could unite many regions, tribes, kingdoms, call it what you want, like the European Union or the United States of America or the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, all together under federalism, define a federal set of powers that unifies them all to work together as a single unit under a set amount of powers in that situation and world situation. Why those countries would want to do that, or those regions would want to do that, or those provinces or territories would want to do that. And then you put the sovereignty that belongs to all the people in each individual region, state, oblast, call it what you want, even a republic, individual republics, give them the sovereignty and define their powers in civil, human, and civics entirely for those people. And each region gets to develop their own, and they work together at a federal level for other set powers. It allows people individual culture, religions, and language, and so much more, and so many freedoms and civil human rights, and all of those people in all 6 federalisms in the world. There's only 6, folks. And Canada's not implemented completely theirs. Only the premiers and their cabinet get the provincial powers of federalism. None of you, the low-life degenerates, 2nd and even 3rd class, get really any of it. They choose for you what you get, and they keep it out of the education system so you don't know any better, so you always remain a slave to them. They have your private property, your energy, your education, your health is in their hands. People didn't understand this during the pandemic in Canada. They couldn't understand it. That's how it worked. Your premiers sold you out. The cabinets, the health ministries sold you out. And as long as they allowed the federal government to get rich and allowed the federal government to abuse their limited federalism, the federal government backed all of them up to abuse the subjects, and more importantly, abuse and destroy the savages that we've defined, like every other constitutional monarchy in the history of the world, like Nazi Germany and the Jews, like South Africa and the native South Africans, the blacks. That's how they were able to do it, because they removed them entirely as human beings. And that way they could keep all the defined subjects in line, because you could always have it worse. Slave, you could be a savage, the lowest person, that's not even a human being. And you don't want to be like that, do you? Let us rule over you entirely. Let us remove the federalism, the division of powers, your civics, your human rights, your health, your welfare, your private property, all of it. It's all ours. And we'll tell you how it is. First Peoples need to learn this. Again, you want to know the birth of real federalism? Before USA took it, before Switzerland took it, look at the Iroquois Confederacy. The First Peoples invented it. They were beautiful at war. And think about this, folks. 1,000 years behind in military technology, but were able to rage on in war against the then growing United States of America. And even before that, the British Empire were able to hold out, organize, and do serious damage again and again in many, many wars. And they're still around today. There is no set of human beings in the world that can boast the same as the North American First Peoples, the Siberian First Peoples. And think about 1,000 years of Russia's history, 1,000 years of those people, and they're still around today. They're still in their culture and in their sovereignty. Think about that. Good luck finding any other peoples in the world at such a technological disadvantage to boast the same. You can look at Zulu Dawn, but look at the numbers and the sheer travesty of loss of life. The First Peoples lost a lot of life too, but over many, many millennia, over and over again. Never as many wars. Nobody went through as many wars. They were highly successful when you compare technologically how well, you can try 120, but I'm at 3,100 RPM. Well, yeah, go ahead. It's not bad. Actually, 115, I'm at 3,100. So yeah, go ahead. If I notice any temperature issues, I'll cut it down. Okay, just keep it at 110. We don't need any issues, and I'm behind you anyway. I'll let you know if there's any issues. That's going to be for hunting, but now we can use it while we're driving too. So, on my way to Grand Prairie. I'll be there soon, but I hope this helps a lot of people, because the idea in go-to, which is natural for people rebelling or looking at getting out of a constitutional monarchy, that 99 percentile will go National Socialist, which is a big fear for USA. It's their biggest fear. It's Russia's biggest fear. And it's China's biggest fear. Not so much for UK, because they hope that things fall apart, and they do in those situations, and you'll revert back to being a subject. But we have to resist that. We have to go with the people system. We can build a system way better than the United States. It's very old, way better than the Russian Federation today. It's very old too. It's actually from the 1920s, what they are now. They had lost to the communist in revolution, and I mean, they're back to that flag and that civil law socialist, but they're a we the people republic, a true federalism. There are some limits there, and even USA has its problems and limits too, but people, we can do way better. It's 2023. More than that, we wouldn't be foolish enough to only have a convention with a minor amount of individuals. I mean, it worked out great with the founding fathers, but reality is we can have all the people of Canada and absolutely all the First Peoples. It's a tremendous amount of private property from an elite's hands to you, the people. We can constitute all the rules of governance, how to govern, and accountability. which is completely and utterly missing from our constitutional monarchy. As you'll find, every system in the world that goes through constitutional monarchies defines corruption as problematic. You're not going to find any history of a beautiful constitutional monarchy where the subjects and savages are doing extremely well. They're not. And you can look at UK and say, well, they're doing okay. They're not growing that great economically, but they're doing as well as they are only through a set of assets, controlled countries around the world. Canada's one of them, and the exploitation thereof. And they do that through their international treaties and that tremendous veto power they have to protect the Canadian federal crown and those corrupt provincial premiers. And they're all corrupt. I can tell you an absolute truth. And again, begrudgingly, UK has to admit it. They came in last place every time. But every time they had to dismember a constitutional monarchy, all the parties in their system were 100% complacent and corrupt. Labour parties like our NDP, conservative parties in different title, but in that conservative narrative were just as corrupt as our conservatives are. The Liberals and all their narratives were all corrupted the exact same way. What people need to understand is Justin Trudeau and his filthy Liberals are just a super beacon of bright light shining on this corrupted system. They're one of the worst, but electing Pierre Poilievre is only a fool's folly. Going with Jagmeet Singh is only a fool's folly. Elizabeth May Green Party, a fool's folly. And Maxime Bernier, lifetime Privy Council, a fool's folly. They will never, ever, no matter what they say, ever end the crown or truly end their autocratic divine power. No provincial premiers want to. You need to highlight in a federal election, in a minority government, all the 140 plus crown positions that the Prime Minister would appoint, or through Prime Minister's appointed crown, therein appoint. We have to highlight that in a political platform, have all 140 people on a website before an election highlighted, and they have to educate the people in real civics in a federal election. Just going for minority prime minister, that's all you need. And you can literally take down every province, every territory, lock out every premier, every cabinet, every premier of every territory, every cabinet. You can take over their legislatures, their assemblies, from Quebec to Northwest Territories, all the provinces and territories left of that or right of it, and south, and from east to west, all of the provinces, all of them. And you can force them, no matter what party holds the reins, you can force them to give the crown power to you, the people. Force them to host constitutional conventions where you're all there and everybody gets federalism. A nation in the nation, nation within the nation. Two nations in one called Canada. First Peoples and Canadians. And again, for anybody saying that's lunatic, cockamamie, or can't be done, or it's radical, I'm sorry, that's the United States of America. You don't hear any issues with any of the First Peoples there. And go look at it. Just like the 50 states, within those 50 states, some even 60% of the state is a nation. There are 155 of them constituted with their own sovereignty, their own self-government, self-determination. 155 of them, you never hear a word about it. Completely self-governing within the same system. They're represented with their own federal ministry, and they all have their own state-level powers equivalent to the states themselves. That's my video. Get it out there. Those running down Monica, you're wrong. Those getting involved with David Elliott, folks, or sorry, Elliott McDavid, look at what we're doing, what he's involved in with me and our entire party. This is the path forward. And anyone who doesn't see that, I'm sorry. It's your premiers, your education system that has put these blinders on you. They've done this to you, especially the First Peoples. It's wrong, wrong, wrong. And yes, chiefs are corrupt. Yes, premiers are corrupt. They don't want to lose their supersized autocratic power, their limited wealth, and they are getting wealth, but at cost of literally trillions of dollars Canada-wide. Wealth that should be in the hands of the people, harvested by all the people. Tremendous amount of land, folks. So much land you can't even comprehend. For literally 40 million plus people. All the First Peoples, all Canadians. It's tremendous, tremendous wealth. It can be yours. And they can serve you, the people. That's reality. God bless. Share the video. Get it out there. People need to know. I'll be in Grand Prairie later this evening around the supper hour, so I'm going to hook up with Elliott McDavid, and it'll be nice to say hi again. And yeah, God bless everybody. Bye now.